What if I told you that the greatest threat to your health isn't some exotic virus or a rare disease, but is in fact sitting in your kitchen pantry right now? What if the very foods you've been told are safe, the products lining every grocery store aisle, are part of a slow, silent assault on your body? This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is a battle being fought right now in the open by people who are tired of watching our nation get sicker and sicker. At the forefront of this fight is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and he has a list of substances he's fighting to get out of our food supply. And let's be clear, the things we're going to talk about today don't even remotely come close to being food. They are chemical concoctions, industrial byproducts, and toxic additives dressed up in colorful packaging. The pushback he's getting is monumental. The amount of money being spent by big corporations, big pharma, big food, the chemical companies, the resistance he's facing, both internally from government agencies and externally from corporate lobbyists, is off the charts. Why? Because your sickness is their profit. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. We're going to arm you with the knowledge you need to protect yourself and your family. We are counting down the top 10 dangerous ingredients and loopholes that RFK Jr. is actively working to eliminate. What you learn today could change the way you shop, the way you eat, and the way you think about your health forever. Let's begin the countdown. Number 10. The grass loophole, generally recognized as safe. It sounds reassuring, doesn't it? Generally recognized as safe. It's a label created by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, that should make you feel protected. But the truth is, the grass loophole is one of the most dangerous deceptions in our entire food system. So what is it? Decades ago, for a new ingredient to be added to our food, it had to undergo rigorous, independent testing by the FDA. But the grass loophole changed everything. It created a system where a company that manufactures a new chemical additive can do its own testing. They can convene their own panel of hand-picked scientists, often paid by them, to determine if their new product is safe. They then simply inform the FDA that their product is GRAS. There's often no independent review, no long-term safety studies. It's a system of self-policing, and it's built on a foundation of pure profit motive. Think about it. It's like letting a student grade their own final exam. What result do you think they're going to give themselves? This loophole has allowed thousands of chemicals into our food supply with little to no government oversight. It's how substances that have never been properly tested on humans end up in the food that you feed your children. RFK Jr. argues that this is a complete abdication of the FDA's responsibility to protect the American public. Closing this loophole is a critical first step to reclaiming our food sovereignty and forcing corporations to prove their products are safe before they hit the shelves, not after millions of people have already become the guinea pigs. Number 9. Artificial sweeteners. For decades, we've been told to fear sugar, and in its place, we were given a miracle solution: zero-calorie artificial sweeteners. They're in everything from diet sodas and yogurts to protein bars and even children's vitamins. But what are they really? We need to distinguish between two types. You have sugar alcohols, which are often made by fermenting natural ingredients. But then you have the heavy hitters, the purely artificial sweeteners, which are synthetic chemicals, some of which were discovered by accident in chemical labs. We're talking about substances like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin. These aren't food. They are chemicals designed to trick your taste buds. The problem is, they don't trick the rest of your body. Mounting evidence shows these sweeteners cause significant damage. One of the most alarming effects is the alteration of your gut microbiome. Your gut is home to trillions of bacteria that regulate everything from your digestion and immune system to your mood. Artificial sweeteners can wipe out beneficial bacteria and allow harmful bacteria to thrive, leading to inflammation, metabolic dysfunction, and a weakened immune system. Furthermore, the debate about their link to cancer has raged for years. Despite industry-funded studies claiming they are safe, independent research has repeatedly raised red flags. RFK Jr. and other health advocates point out that we are consuming these chemicals in unprecedented amounts, with no real understanding of the long-term consequences. Banning these chemical sweeteners isn't about taking away choice. It's about stopping the mass consumption of substances that are fundamentally alien to the human body. Number 8. Ultra-processed foods. This category is broad, but it's arguably the single biggest driver of the chronic disease epidemic in America. Ultra-processed foods now make up nearly 60% of the average American's diet. So, what are they? Don't think of an apple or a steak or a potato. Think of things made from components of foods. These products are not food in their natural state. They are formulations of industrial ingredients, synthetic starches, modified proteins, hydrogenated oils, and a cocktail of artificial colors, flavors, and preservatives. Think of frozen pizzas, sugary breakfast cereals, packaged cookies, instant noodles, and most fast food. These foods are designed in a lab for one purpose: maximum profit through maximum consumption. They are engineered to be hyper-palatable, overriding your body's natural signals of fullness and leading to overeating and addiction. They are stripped of fiber and nutrients and loaded with synthetic sugars and inflammatory seed oils. The results are devastating. Diets high in ultra-processed foods are directly linked to higher rates of obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even depression and dementia. RFK Jr.'s goal is to attack this problem at its source, especially for the most vulnerable. He aims to get these toxic, nutrient-void products out of places where people have limited choice, like children's school lunches, hospital cafeterias, and assisted living homes. It's a common-sense approach. Our institutions should be promoting health, not subsidizing disease. Number 7. Seed oils. This might be one of the most insidious ingredients on our list because it's hiding in plain sight. Go look at the ingredients list on your salad dressing, your mayonnaise, your crackers, or the food from your favorite restaurant. You will see them everywhere: soybean oil, canola oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, safflower oil. These are collectively known as seed oils. For most of human history, we consumed fats from animals, olives, and coconuts. But in the last century, a massive industrial shift gave us these cheap, factory-produced oils. They are extracted from seeds using high heat and industrial solvents like hexane, a chemical component of gasoline. They are then bleached and deodorized to make them palatable. The problem lies in their chemical structure. They are extremely high in an omega-6 fatty acid called linoleic acid. While we need some omega-6, the average American now consumes 25 to 30% of their daily calories from these oils, creating a massive inflammatory imbalance in the body. This chronic inflammation is a root cause of nearly every modern disease: heart disease, arthritis, autoimmune conditions, and cognitive decline. Worst of all, these unstable fats incorporate themselves into your body's cells. Scientists have shown they can linger in your body fat for over a year after you eat them, continuously promoting inflammation and oxidative stress. RFK Jr. and many other health experts see the explosion of seed oil consumption as a primary driver of our nation's health crisis. Removing them is not just about avoiding a bad food, it's about removing a source of chronic systemic poison. Number 6. High fructose corn syrup. If ultra-processed foods have a king, its name is high fructose corn syrup, or HFCS. This hyper-sweet corn-derived liquid sweetener exploded onto the market in the 1970s as a cheap, government-subsidized alternative to sugar. It's now the primary sweetener in thousands of products, especially soft drinks, juices, candies, and processed snacks. Industry defenders will tell you it's no different than regular sugar. This is a dangerous oversimplification. Unlike glucose, which can be used by any cell in your body for energy, the fructose component of HFCS can only be metabolized by your liver. When you consume it in the massive quantities present in modern diets, you completely overwhelm your liver. What does the liver do with all this excess fructose? It turns it into fat. This leads directly to a condition called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which now affects an estimated 100 million Americans. This liver damage drives insulin resistance, which is the stepping stone to full-blown type 2 diabetes. It increases your triglycerides, your bad cholesterol, and your risk for heart disease. For years, activists have been fighting to get this substance out of our children's school systems, recognizing that it's fueling the childhood obesity and diabetes epidemics. RFK Jr. is continuing this fight on a national scale, arguing that a government that subsidizes the production of a substance that sickens its population has failed in its most basic duty. Number 5. Potassium Bromate. Have you ever wondered how commercial bread and baked goods get that perfectly white, fluffy, and unnaturally soft texture? In many cases, the secret ingredient is a chemical called potassium bromate. It's an oxidizing agent that is added to flour. It strengthens the dough, allowing it to rise higher and giving the final product a spongy, uniform consistency that industrial bakers love. The problem is what it leaves behind. Potassium bromate is classified as a possible human carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Studies on lab animals have shown a clear link between its consumption and tumors, particularly in the kidneys and thyroid. The defense from the baking industry is that the chemical is supposed to be converted into a harmless substance, potassium bromide, during the baking process. However, testing has repeatedly shown that if the product isn't baked long enough, at a high enough temperature, or if too much is added, dangerous residual amounts of potassium bromate remain in the final product you eat. Here's the most telling fact. This chemical is banned from use in food in over 30 countries, including the entire European Union, the United Kingdom, Canada, Brazil, and China. Yet, it remains perfectly legal in the United States. Why take the risk? RFK Jr.'s position is simple. If a substance is too dangerous for Europe and Canada, it's too dangerous for Americans. Number 4. Brominated Vegetable Oil, BVO. Get ready for this one. Brominated vegetable oil contains bromine, the same element found in flame retardants used on furniture and electronics, and for decades, this flame retardant chemical has been added to American soft drinks. It has nothing to do with vegetables in any healthy sense. BVO is a chemical emulsifier. Its only job is to keep the artificial citrus flavoring from separating from the sugar water and floating to the top of your soda. It's used in many popular citrus-flavored sports drinks and sodas, often the ones with a cloudy neon yellow or green appearance. Consuming a flame retardant should obviously be a red flag. Bromine is a halogen, like iodine, and it can compete with iodine in your body, potentially disrupting your thyroid function. Overexposure has been linked to neurological symptoms, memory loss, skin lesions, and nerve disorders. There are documented cases of people requiring medical attention for bromine toxicity after drinking multiple liters of BVO-containing soda per day. Like potassium bromate, BVO has been banned for use in food across Europe and Japan. After years of public pressure, some major beverage companies in the US have voluntarily removed it, but it is still not federally banned and remains in many store brand and smaller label drinks. It is a completely unnecessary, toxic ingredient that has no place in anything a human being would consume. Number 3. Titanium dioxide. This is an ingredient that adds no flavor, no nutritional value, and no shelf life. Its only purpose is to make foods and other products look whiter and more opaque. You'll find it in things like coffee creamers, salad dressings, chewing gum, candies like Skittles, and even in vitamins and supplements to make them look clean and uniform. But this whitening agent comes at a dark cost. Titanium dioxide often exists in the form of nanoparticles, which are particles so small they can penetrate our body's natural barriers. The primary concern is its potential to cause genotoxicity, damage to your DNA. When your DNA is damaged, it can lead to mutations, cellular instability, and increase the risk of cancer. This isn't just a theory. In 2021, the European Food Safety Authority declared that titanium dioxide was no longer considered safe for consumption due to these genotoxicity concerns, and it is now banned as a food additive across the European Union. France banned it even earlier, in 2020. The science shows these nanoparticles can accumulate in organs, including the liver and spleen, and can even cross the blood-brain barrier. Yet, in the United States, it's still generally recognized as safe. RFK Jr. is actively working to force the FDA to follow the science and the lead of European regulators. The idea that we need a potential carcinogen simply to make our salad dressing look a little bit whiter is a perfect example of corporate priorities gone wrong. Number 2, the SNAP program junk food subsidy. This point is different. It's not a single ingredient, but a systemic problem that RFK Jr. is passionately fighting to correct. The SNAP program formerly known as food stamps, is a vital lifeline designed to help low-income families afford groceries and prevent hunger. It is a noble and necessary program. Here is the tragic irony. There are virtually no restrictions on what can be purchased with SNAP benefits. As a result, tens of billions of taxpayer dollars every year are spent on the very ultra-processed, disease-causing products we've been discussing. The number one item purchased with SNAP dollars is sugary soft drinks. Billions are spent on candy, processed meats, and junk food. In essence, we are using public money to subsidize the profits of junk food corporations while simultaneously fueling the epidemic of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease in our most vulnerable communities. It's a vicious cycle. RFK Jr. is actively working to reform the SNAP program to eliminate junk foods and incentivize the purchase of whole, healthy foods like fruits, vegetables, and meats. The pushback he is receiving is immense, and it's coming from some unlikely sources. Even organizations like the American Heart Association have opposed these reforms, arguing they limit choice, a position that many believe is heavily influenced by funding from the very food and beverage companies that profit from the current system. This isn't about punishing the poor, it's about ending a taxpayer-funded system that makes people sick. Number 1. Artificial food dyes. We've arrived at number 1. This is perhaps the most obvious and indefensible category of them all: artificial food dyes. We're talking about petroleum-derived chemicals like Red 40, Yellow 5, and Blue 1. Their only purpose is cosmetic. They make your cereal brighter, your candy more colorful, and your sports drink a more vibrant shade of blue. They have zero nutritional value. They add nothing to the quality, safety, or flavor of the food. They are only there to make processed junk food more visually appealing to consumers, especially children. The risks, however, are very real. The Delaney Clause of 1958 was a landmark piece of legislation that prohibited the use of any food additive shown to induce cancer in humans or animals. Several of these dyes were shown to do just that. But in 1996, under intense corporate lobbying, the Food Quality Protection Act was passed, which effectively reversed this clause and created loopholes that allowed these chemicals back into our food supply. Beyond the cancer risk, these dyes have been strongly linked to behavioral problems in children, including hyperactivity and ADHD. This link is so well established that in the European Union, most foods containing these dyes must carry a warning label that says, "may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children." As a result, most companies use natural colorants like beet juice or paprika in their European products. But in the US, they continue to use the cheap petroleum-based dyes. The fight to ban artificial dyes is a fight for common sense. It's about asking a simple question: why are we tolerating any level of risk for an ingredient that has absolutely no benefit? So there you have it. 10 of the most dangerous, unnecessary, and deceptive ingredients and loopholes that have infiltrated the American food supply. From the flame retardant in your soda to the DNA-damaging whitener in your creamer, this isn't about food. It's about industrial products masquerading as food. The system may seem broken, and the forces defending these chemicals may seem powerful. But knowledge is the first and most important step toward change. You now have the knowledge. You have the power to read the labels, to ask questions, and to vote with your dollar every single time you go to the grocery store. If this information was valuable to you, and you want to support our mission to bring these truths to light, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Every single subscriber helps us grow and allows us to continue making content like this. We wish you and your family the very best of health. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, you have the power to choose what goes on your plate and in your body. You are in control. Thank you for watching.